Hello, this is Allein Moore, and I'm interviewing Bob Greenberg. He's president of the jury at the AdFest this year in 2012, and we're in Pattaya. And Bob is the founder, he's the chairman, chief creative officer of RGA. And Bob, welcome to Thailand. Now, Bob, your company, you started in the film industry. You were working on feature films such as Alien, Predator, and other big movies, and you were doing motion graphics. What led you to change from this side of the business into becoming what is now a very large digital advertising agency?
Well, I'm going to be giving a speech tomorrow where I quickly go through these 9-year increments that are parts of RGA, which used to stand for our Greenberg Associates. So it used to be my brother Richard, I'm Robert, but really he's Dick and I'm Bob. But we had a way to organize it under that name, and then it became RGA later. The first 9 years, I really worked on looking at how the computer was going to change production. And we were very early on in 77 to 85, looking at computer-assisted filmmaking. So we were driven by what people like Sal Bass and Charles Eames had done in their day, and how we could take really great print work and move it into motion. So then with the addition of the computer, we created the first computerized animation camera, the first computerized optical printer, the first computerized aerial image projector, and 35 millimeter pin registered cameras. So we created this whole studio that was integrated to do television commercials and feature film work. And we became well known for the opening of Superman, and that led to the opening of Alien, and then we started doing full-up visual effects. So overall, the next period, from 1985 on, we created, in 82 actually, one of the very first computer graphics companies. And so I took all the people that had worked on the movie Tron, and I brought them to our Greenberg Associates. The original Tron, I had started, I think we had the third license of Berkeley Unix. So we started to develop our own software, then we started to integrate for the first time ever film, video, and computer graphics under one roof, which hadn't been put together before, and always with a strong emphasis on creative and design. And we grew to about 225 people or so, which made us the largest studio on the East Coast, competing with George Lucas on the West Coast for visual effects work. And we wound up working on 400 feature films and 4,000 commercials, something like that. And when I saw the internet, which was 93, pointed out by Jim Clark, who founded Netscape, and also Silicon Graphics, because he was going to start something with Mark Andreessen, and so it all goes back to these very early days. And I decided to change the whole company when I saw that, which was in the third 9-year period, to an interactive agency that eventually, an interactive boutique that became an interactive agency. So as we started working on that, only 30 people came with me, and the others wanted to stay in graphic animation and feature film work and commercial production, etc. And so a lot of new companies spawned out of that change. And I sold to True North Communications, which was part of Footcone and Belding, that ultimately got bought by IPG. So currently, in our current thing, which we call the Agency for the Digital Age, we've become something unusual in New York in that we're probably either the biggest or one of the biggest single agencies in New York. So we have 1,000 people there. So it's a very big operation. And then we've moved into countries all the way from Singapore to London to Sao Paulo, Bucharest, Stockholm, and we have 9 offices now. And that's our model is no acquisitions, no roll-ups. We start from 2 people, 4, 8, 16. And we're going to be opening offices again probably toward the end of this year, beginning of next, until we have, for around 2015, something close to 20, 25 offices. So we would have a global footprint. The other thing that we're doing that's very different is we're integrated, so we're not like our competitive set where the agency in New York doesn't really integrate with the agency in Mumbai or Sao Paulo or Amsterdam. So we're completely integrated, very digital. And we have this model where we have vertical departments and horizontal offerings. And what I'm going to talk about tomorrow is the next 9-year model, which starts 2013 to 2022. And that model, we're talking about it being based on functional integration. So that's the idea that companies, clients of ours, would create products and services around their brand as platforms, and that's the future of what we see. So we're creating a new division to do smart television and the impact that it'll have. We're creating a group that will be consultative, like a McKinsey or Bain. We're creating a product innovation group, of which we already have 115 people in that group, so they create real products and services for our clients. Well, I think everybody knows that Asia and perhaps South America, particularly in the emerging parts, China and India, but also just in general, are such important parts of the near future and current things that are happening today. So I don't believe that we as RGA in our model can't I think we wouldn't have a model if we didn't incorporate Asia. So it'd probably be next year where we would open in Shanghai and perhaps Mumbai, and so that's the next steps for us. But they're big things to take on. That's one of the reasons I was interested in accepting Jimmy's invite. The other is in my travels, and we have a very multicultural group in New York. The Thai people are the nicest of all the people, if you want to generalize. Just the culture is so fascinating, and so I wanted to come here for that reason. And then to see and meet the people that are doing the work, the jurists, the delegates, etc. And it has been better than I would have imagined. I think, first of all, there is really no differentiation between the work, except when it's local. If you're looking at the large clients that exist in Japan and in the Asian market, some of them internationally, coming from the United States as well, there's just very little difference in the presentation films that they have, all in English. Or the only one that really has differentiation is when you're talking about the lotus that's connected to roots, which is connected to local. When it gets extremely local, it's different. But otherwise, I could be hiring the people that worked on the work without any hesitation, the best work, the best creative people, everything from the concept to the copywriting to in whatever language. Because I've judged 2 competitions so far this year, is equivalent in every respect to the best work that I've seen from, for instance, the Andes, which we judged in Kauai. The only thing that I hear, which I don't know the actual facts and figures, is that there's a smaller percentage of digital work being done in the region than compared to Europe and North America. And I think that's going to change based on analytics and really understanding the younger consumers and the way that they interact with social media, mobile, and the web, the same way that they do in the United States or anywhere else. So it's a phenomenon, which is the digital thing that's happening on a global basis. The spend is much less in the region. And there's also some cultural phenomena like in Japan, where so many people read newspapers. So there's slight differences in media, but I think it's all going to become very similar everywhere in the world in terms of digital expertise, the quality of the creative, the quality of the juries, the quality of the people doing the work.
Well, thank you very much for talking to AdAsia, and enjoy the rest of your stay in Thailand.